The Trollface and its function as a periodic expiation of evil. The Trollface memes began life in 2008, and it's not hard to see why. Its recognisable wide and toothy grin, wrinkled face, and catchphrase of "problem" that was commonly attached to images of it catapulted it to mimetic stardom. However, that is not what we intend to talk about in today's essay, but instead the current usage of the Trollface. In recent days, the Trollface meme has returned in an insane, nightmarish form. These forms of the Trollface include the ongoing incident as well as I hate the Antichrist, the two of which will be discussed in this essay. Since time immemorial, evil has been presented in many forms. To our earliest animistic ancestors, where all beings in the universe held equal supernatural sway over his lot, evil was perceived as those forces which acted to his detriment, such as illness, bad luck, and the like. This is why, in certain Chinese traditions, which derive from a shamanistic past, elements of luck and fortune are contended with. As man matured, evil took on anthropomorphic forms, such as demons, devils, or became essences, such as sin within man. To this day, evil plagues man to such an extent that it causes in him a great anxiety and terror. While material evils, such as poverty and sickness, modern man attempts to control via the scientific manipulation of physical substances, evil is still perceived as a force to be contended with, a thoroughly unscientific but deeply human conception. Thus, just as cultures before have attempted to expiate evil via the use of symbols and rituals, it is true of modern internet culture to attempt to do the same. This essay is an investigation of the threads of symbolism that go back to our anthropological past within the message of the meme. This shall be done by investigating three separate forms of the meme, finding cognate symbols and rituals in other cultures throughout history, then finding the line of continuity between them. Performance as expiation. Glaringly, the Trollface meme has a performative function. In its ongoing incident form, it performs or recalls various events perceived to be bad or evil, such as the Nazi takeover of Germany, among others. This retelling of various incidents is none other than the recollection of various historical memories in the form of a nightmare. Dreams and nightmares especially have a special place in the psyche of man. Early conceptions of the soul and the consciousness state that the soul is like a bird, which can escape the body during altered states of consciousness, such as psychosis and in sleep. Outside the body, the soul no longer interacts or is in the realm of gross form, but rather is in the realm of subtle form, which is similar to its own state of being. It thus interacts with this realm, and whatever it encounters is perceived as a dream by the consciousness. This concept is demonstrated in the superstitions of the Dayak people. When a Dayak dreams that he has fallen into water, he thinks that the accident has actually befallen his soul, and thus must send for the witch doctor to retrieve it. Dreams are thus actual interactions of the soul, perceived by the consciousness. These historical memories, which now resurface as dreams or nightmares, and are thus perceptions of the conscious form from its interactions with the unconscious, cognate to the perceptions of the subtle soul with subtle matter. These dreams here are now ever more real, since they derive from an actual historical memory, and not mere belief in their reality. These historical memories are then performed in the form of memes, their nightmarish forms presented in the form of the ugly Trollface. The performance of dreams also has anthropological cognates. In certain North American tribes, dreams, especially nightmares, will be performed elaborately and with excruciating detail, in an attempt to break their effect. This deflecting of like with like is precisely the principle of homeopathic or imitative magic in anthropology, where it is believed that an effect will resemble its cause. Our historical traumas or nightmares are therefore now performed as memes in a similar fashion. While we may not be conscious of it, the place where this stems from is deeply ingrained in the psyche of man, a fear of his dreams and memories that hold an irresistible sway over him. Performance of a curtailment of future evil. Nightmares are not always the effect of past trauma, however, for future anxieties can also cause the said phenomenon. The most marked of these nightmares are the Antichrist memes that have surfaced. Of course, the appearance of the Antichrist figure is a perceived and anticipated historical trauma which is salient in most faiths, Abrahamic or other. Therefore, its surfacing at the conscious level as a nightmare follows logically from our earlier explanation of historical trauma and dreams. Thus, the performance of the Antichrist dream is far more extreme, for it is not only the banishing of an evil omen, but an actually perceived and real historical trauma that has yet to appear. It is this fear of the future, the dark future, that is not only nightmarish, but truly drives one to madness. One must only imagine the horrors of the Antichrist, the carnival-like nature of the world under his rule, the slaughter of innocents, and spreading of evil to shiver and terror. Since it is something prophesied, the Antichrist meme is not a performance to banish evil, since that evil must need to appear. It is therefore futile in the case of the Antichrist to perform these nightmares in order to banish these evils. Therefore, the fruitless performance of these nightmares is insanity in pure form, rather than just nightmare performed. One need only embody the troll-faced character to detect his insanity. His neurotic chanting of "I hate the Antichrist," that we in turn read out, embody the insanity of the character. But what insanity does this reflect? Is our world not already carnivalic? Are the innocents not already slaughtered? Does evil not already rule the land? The nightmare, as we subconsciously realise, is no longer a past historical trauma, and no longer an anticipated future trauma. The nightmare is here and now, and though we subconsciously realise this, we refuse to accept this at a conscious level. It is for this reason that we perform these ancient expiatory rituals, in an attempt to dispel the evil. However, we fail to realise that it is too late. Evil hath come, and no action can deter the unstoppable tide of history. This essay has been written by @Hylomorphicatomism on Instagram, /schizomayoeater on Twitter, and performed by @agoraphobic.chad on Instagram, and @cromneat on Twitter. I hate the Antichrist. I hate the Antichrist.